This is Al with his invention, the Torkster, a device that gives anyone superhuman strength to remove stuck fasteners like nuts and bolts. So how does this hardened steel super tool work? We'll let Al explain. But first, always wear your eye protection. Okay, take it away, Al.
It's a hardened steel device. It consists of two pieces. There's what I call the adapter and the insert. The insert is assembled into a socket and is driven by the adapter, and the adapter has the ability to be driven by 5 different tools, 4 around the circumference and 1 from the back side. And so you have 2 square drives along the circumference and 2 threaded sections used with a 1/2-inch pipe thread. What I usually do is I take a 1/2-inch extension, I put it on the back side, and that exposes and you put the socket on the opposite end, install it over the nut that you want to drive, and now you have, again, 4 interface points on the periphery of the tool with 1 in the back in which to add the tools you're going to use to remove this.
According to Al, there are 180 configurations of this device. In the following video series, we'll explain a few of the more common ways to use the Torkster.
So in the case of breaker bars, we could put one on one side. Forgot to bring it over here. Okay, thanks. We can put it on the second side. Okay, and we're now in a position, we rotate in a counterclockwise direction of actually putting twice the amount of torque on that fastener that you could as a single person. The next thing to look at are the threaded inputs for a 1/2-inch pipe thread. A pipe from your standard big box store will thread directly into the device. Now what I always recommend you do is put a little Teflon tape on it to get the pipe installed into the device as securely as possible. Now this is a 3-foot pipe. I typically cinch it up a little bit with a pipe wrench. Make sure it's good and tight. You can install another pipe on the other side. The advantage of using a pipe for this application is the fact that, number one, you can get a pipe in a much longer length than you can a breaker bar. And number 2 is you can customize it. Let's say you were limited in clearance. Perhaps you had 23 inches of clearance and you've got a 12-inch or 14-inch breaker bar. You can cut the pipe directly to the length that you need. One of the things to be careful of, though, when you use the pipe is the fact that try to use a second device along with the pipe in order to turn the adapter. The torque that you're able to put through with the pipe is limited to about 300 newton meters. At a point above that, the pipe will break. You could put a second device on the back side. You could put another breaker bar or along the periphery, or a second pipe. But if you do break off the tip, right, in the Torkster, you can just they sell easy outs in your big box store, used to remove nipples, pipe nipples. Take this, you tap it in with a hammer, turn it counterclockwise, and it's got these little grippy threads. They grip the inside of the pipe. It removes it right away. Another thing you can do with the device is to use a short piece of pipe to use as kind of an anvil to hammer on. Now this is a very effective way of loosening a bolt that's extremely tight. The idea here is you would apply leverage on one side as hard as you can, and you would whack the anvil with a sledgehammer, in this case, a brass hammer, to apply impact to the nut as well as torque. The combination of torque and impact is guaranteed to loosen the stuck fastener. I haven't really talked much about what else you can do on the backside. You can use a standard ratchet wrench on the backside in combination with another lever. You can use an air impact wrench in combination again with leverage from another device. Again, the combination of impact and leverage is a deadly combination to loosen these bolts. That's good. Oh, okay, that's good. If your only option is to use one long lever to push down to make the torque, you can actually position a jack stand on the other side in combination with an extension. And this way you eliminate the down force and the rotating couple that would cause the tool to come off. this tool is extremely tough. We've tested it up to 750 Newton meters, which is over 500 pound-feet of torque, and haven't been able to destroy it. So it'll handle the toughest jobs you could possibly throw at it. During our testing, one of the objectives of the Torkster was to be able to break a grade 8 bolt and a half-inch grade 8 bolt. And this is an example of the bolt that we did use for a validation. You can see we're able to shear the head off. And we did this at somewhere around 400 Newton meters of torque. And again, with no effects whatsoever on the Torkster. And the last objective was to actually break that insert that we showed you. And here's an example of a broken insert. This one is actually purchased from Wiha Tools in Germany. And this is where we used the 750 Newton meters of torque to actually break the insert. And that's the max we could put into it because we don't know what else to do. We broke the vise, so we don't have any way of testing it over 750 Newton meters, but I'm sure we'll take it because there's absolutely no signs of distress with the part whatsoever, no cracks, no scratches, nothing. As a result, we're going to guarantee this part for life, just exchange for whatever reason, no questions asked.